All right, guys, we are live. It is 29 weeks, I think, right? Yeah, 29 weeks. That is a long time. That is almost
Mhm.
30. So
Wow.
basically, basically, guys, like I said, that is over half a year. We've been doing these live videos every week for the last I don't know, over half a year. So a little over 6 months. Yeah, and you guys have all been part of it, which is awesome. I'm seeing a lot of the same names over in the chat again. We got Dad's Garage, Great White North Corvette, Doug Hooks, uh, Cole Means is on, yeah. So we got a lot of people in here. Actually, 11-second Eclipse is on. Looks like got to scroll through the comments a little bit. Doctor Corvette, yeah, he's on. What's up, man?
Is he?
Yep, he's here. And then oh yeah, Stephen
Very
Rapp
glad.
is on. Stephen Rapp is on. We got a lot of the same names popping up. That's awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. We really appreciate the support. We're obviously trying to build the community, and you guys every week that you tune in, you're helping build that community. So very cool. Shane, what's up, man? I'm sure we'll get an update from him in a second as far as thumbs ups are concerned. But
Mhm.
I know you guys just joined, but any thumbs ups you could leave really helps the channel, really helps this particular video circulate to as many other Corvette enthusiasts as possible, which obviously helps build the community. So it's kind of a circle thing. So you smash that thumbs up, it's really going to help out the channel and help get more people included in this community. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, guys. The big one is actually playing behind Jason down there as we speak. So Jason and I and Dad's Garage, we all had a little bit of a hand in delivering Steve his C8 Corvette. It's a pretty cool video. If you guys want to head over to his channel after the live is over, you can check it out. You'll actually be able to see a lot of it while we're here talking as well, because it's playing behind Jason now. So pretty cool, but we do have a little bit of stuff to talk about with the Z06 specifically. We have a pretty extensive list of dealerships charging over MSRP. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that. And while we're talking about it, we're also going to allow you guys to put in your feedback. So if you found a dealership that's also charging over MSRP, we'll talk about that. I know there's at least one dealership that I know of that's charging over MSRP that's not on this list that we're going to talk about as well. So if you guys have any of those dealerships that you want to talk about, we're going to mention those as well. Great White North says, congratulations, Steve, on your new Corvette. The video is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start out with one piece of information, a piece of news, we'll say. It is going to be the Corvette Stingray Z06 production update for October 2022. So this is coming to us from our friends over at the Corvette Blogger. There's a lot of information here, but ultimately what it's talking about is the fact that the plant was closed. The plant is now reopened, and they have started making Corvettes again, obviously. The big number here, though, is the fact that they are now at 41 customer-ordered Z06s have been produced. So last week we were talking about it, and we were at 30. We are now at 41, so you guessed it. It takes about a week to make 10 cars. So 10 cars are being made, 10 Z06s per week, on top of the normal, I don't know, around 180 to 200, I believe, C8s per week, assuming no supply chain issues. So they're making 10 Z06s and 100 plus C8s weekly. With that being said, obviously, the production of the Z06 is not super high right now. It doesn't really have to be right now, though, because they're only producing 300 of these things. So it is semi-disappointing, but at the same time, it is a good piece of good news that the plant is open again. So if you're waiting for a C8, the plant's open. They could be producing yours as we speak if you're waiting for one. Let's see here. Rocco says, why doesn't GM just rent out the Nürburgring and record a lap time? Porsche and Lamborghini, among others, do. I would have to say that is probably relatively expensive to do that. And I don't know that they don't do that, to be honest with you. But if they rent out the track and the weather's not exactly perfect, that's not going to work real well. if they run out the track and one of the drivers wrecks or something along those lines, that's going to shut it down for the day. There's a million reasons why it wouldn't work out. Shane says, congratulations again, Steve. Frank White says, only an idiot would pay over MSRP. Unfortunately, nowadays, it seems like you pretty much have to be an idiot to get a car because everybody's paying over MSRP. Paper Tiger, what's up, man? Yeah, dude. Like I said, not too long ago, down in the Florida store, I was down there, and guys came in super excited about his new Kia. It was actually one of the, I don't know what they call them, but they're the matte series paint, and he was pumped about it. He said he found it for $5,000 over, and everybody else in the state wanted $10K over for this car. And I'm like, I didn't want to say it, but I'm thinking, for a Kia, like it's everything. Everything's over nowadays.
Yeah.
Doug Hooks, you might be right about that. It might be 100 a day. I thought I had read it was per week, but it might be per day. If that's the case, then the production of the Stingray is far higher than the Z06. Even if it's a week, it's still not even 10% if it's a week, but if it's daily, it's like 1%. Frank White says, only that YouTuber trying to grow a beard speed phenom is getting one. There's a couple YouTubers getting one. Speed Phenom is one of them. Obviously, Amelia is going to get one of her own eventually. Street Speed, I think, is getting one now. So there are going to be a couple YouTubers with these. My stupid fast truck says my Stingray target production week was the week the plant was shut down. That sucks. Found out Friday mine was built, ready for shipping. Nice. Congratulations.
I was going to tell you, so I just found on here, says a full production schedule is 184 Corvettes per day for 920 per week. However, the assembly plant rarely reaches that 920 cars goal per week, but in November of 2021, they were averaging 854 cars per week. So, and granted, this was from January of 2022, so it's a little bit old, but
that's probably still pretty relevant if I had to guess. I know I knew the 180 number was in there somewhere. I thought it was weekly, but it daily makes more sense because they're starting to really churn out the C8s at this point.
Yeah.
The Z06 is still obviously lagging behind, but it's to be expected since they don't really have to build a whole lot of these cars.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shane says the local Chevy dealership down the road for me was charging $20K over when I attempted to see about their Z06 list. So Shane, in a minute, we're going to ask you, once we start looking into all the dealerships that are charging over, I'd like to know what dealership that is. I don't want to get it from you just yet because I do want to also have our list ready to go at that point. But yeah, we'll be asking for that in a second. Shane says we got 41 thumbs ups, guys. If we could get those up a little bit, would be really awesome. Jet Driver's on. He says, hey guys, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in.
Jet
Master
Driver.
G says, has the Bowling Green plant opened up? My order is at 3,400 status. TPW was October 17th. Yeah, it is open as of last Monday. It opened back up. So you should be pretty good. If it was the 17th was your TPW, I would imagine you're either...
I bet it's car's probably built.
That's what I'm thinking, is it's probably sitting there ready to ship. Okay. So, yeah, so let's go back over to the news here, guys. Like I said, for those of you just joining, the Corvette Stingray Z06 production update for October 2022. The big number to take away from this one is the fact that we have 41 customer-ordered Z06s that have been built. So last week it was 30. This week it's 41. So we have 11 built in a week. So not staggering numbers, but like I said, they don't really have to be at this point because there's only 300 of them being made anyway. So moving on to the next one, we have over at the Mid-Engine Corvette forum, we have a thread here of people who have had their orders accepted and are basically ready to go. So a lot of these guys are at 3,000 status with their Z06, which is pretty cool. So with that all added in. We've got regular normal people with their Z06 at 3,400 status, or at least 3,000 status. So these are not influencers or YouTubers or stars or anything like that. These are just regular people that have their cars at 3,000 status. So if you are waiting for a Z06, which I know at least one person in this chat right now is, I think he's also at 3,000 status last I checked. That would be you, Dr. Corvette. Looks like we got 55 thumbs up currently. We're going to scroll through this list in a second. MVP says, are Z06s all coupes or both? They're making both right now, but apparently the majority of what they're making are convertibles. Rocco says that he's 58 and he'll be dead by the time he gets his Z06. Any insight on non-Z51 build constraints? Just went to build at Sioka for 23 Stingray. Coupe LT2 non-Z51. Thanks, guys. I haven't heard of any new constraints. I think we're good as far as that's concerned. The last I heard was Magaride, but I think that even that's done for now. So you should be able to build pretty much anything. Your dealership, especially Sioka, should be able to tell you if anything you're adding to your build is on the constraint list. We got 60 thumbs up currently with 133 watching. Let's go. Shane's telling on you guys. A thumbs up would really help the channel, guys. Jet Driver says that shocks me. Convertibles. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if GM is just maybe building more of the convertibles because they're somehow easier to build. I would think that that's not the case though, because there's more moving parts to it than the coupe. So there must be some reason.
I think it's because they're awesome.
You would say that.
I would. I'm not biased.
Not at all.
No.
Sioka said Z51 is on constraint, Magride or not. Interesting. I haven't heard that yet, so that update will probably come out tomorrow if I had to guess. Really, the reason we do Corvette Weeklies on Mondays typically is because that's when the news will break. The Corvette bloggers and the Corvette websites don't typically do much updating over the weekend. I will be on a plane tomorrow flying to SEMA, so we weren't able to do the live tomorrow. We had to do it tonight, but that's basically the reason. So if any of you guys are going to SEMA, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to meet up at some point if you're going to be there too. 05 Biglin says, I really like the video with the painting of the engine cover. Painted mine. Yeah, thank you. That really does make a huge difference on the coupe, especially. It's massive. It makes it look so much sportier. Beetlejuice, yeah, it is kind of shameful. We're going to get to the dealerships that we have a list of. I did see one other one that just posted in here that I know was also over. It was, yeah, Rydell in Northridge, California is 5K over for orders. Now, that's probably just for the C8. That's probably not for the Z06, because the Z06, the last time I checked, actually we have something on Rydell from the Corvette mid-engine Corvette forum where they're not charging over, but they're ordering the C8 Corvette Z06, letting it sit on their lot, and then they're starting an auction. So their auction is going to basically, they're going to auction off the Z06s. These cars are going to go for probably 300,000+ if I had to guess. That will be fun at SEMA. Yeah, I'm hoping so. It's my first time at SEMA. So, like I said, guys, if you're going, let me know. First super chat of the night comes from Amber. She said, is anyone in this chat going to SEMA? Mr. and Mrs. HPO will be in Vegas. Hopefully we win big. Last I heard, you gotta play to win. And I'm probably not going to play. But let Amber know if you guys are going. She donated a super chat for that. So first super chat of the night. I don't think we got any. We do have a Venmo. How about that? Let's see. We got a Venmo from Steve Robertson. I didn't even see him in here.
Yeah, he is.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
He says, just because you deserve something for broadcasting on a Sunday. Look at this guy. All right, he donated $50 from Steve Robertson for broadcasting on a Sunday. I'll tell you what, Steve, that's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. But I didn't see him in here either.
I didn't.
But he's
I
always
did not
here.
see his name. We definitely appreciate it. Dr. Corvette says, I went out to dinner Friday night with the boys, and I wind up calling. I'm still at 3,000 status. They said there'll probably be movement in 2 weeks. Sounds right because of my special VIN number. That's cool. I mean, I'll gladly trade you places if you want to let me have the 3,000 status. And, you know, that was a joke, but yeah, it was not funny. I was hoping for it to be funnier than that. Master G says, I prefer the coupe. The engine showing through the glass is special. I agree. Shane says we got 68 thumbs up. Currently, I thought it was Halloween and not SEMA. Haha, SEMA is such a cooler answer. Sounds like Amber Lynn will be playing hard in Vegas. Yeah, she hopes to be. Halloween is tomorrow, guys. So one of the reasons why we stuck with the ZR1 up in the top left here is for the fact that it is Halloween and it's more of a Halloween style car. Steve Robertson is here. I do see his name now. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the Venmo. We appreciate it. Any donations to the channel, guys, super chats or Venmos, will go right back into making this community as good and as awesome as it can possibly be. So we do prefer Venmos just because YouTube doesn't take a gigantic cut of those, but either way you want to do it, we appreciate it. Shane says we got 70 thumbs up currently.
Tomorrow is my anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, guys, let's give Jason a round of applause. He's made it how many years, Jason?
13, and we've been together for 15. My longest relationship prior was like 3 months.
So she broke you.
Yeah. It was usually anywhere from 1 day to 3 months. So.
1 day. Wow, listen to you. All right, guys. Yeah, congratulate Jason. He's made it 13 years in a marriage. 11-second Eclipse says, Justin, your ZR1 pick looks awesome. Thank you. 11 seconds. I'm hoping to get around 11 seconds at the drag strip with my car here soon. When I come back from SEMA, assuming the stars align, I'm going to try to go to the drag strip with my car.
Is Jason's anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Shane says 75 thumbs up. Steve Robertson giving us a little fist bump. Jason says, thanks, Doug and Elijah.
And Shane?
Up there. Because why not, right? Congrats, man. Look at this. Yeah, happy anniversary. I'm going to put that on the screen. That's nice. With the little medals. You deserve a prize for hanging on that long. I think Steve just bowed out. Oh, boy. Steve and his new iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. He is gone. All right, so we are Steveless at this point, which kind of sucks because some of the next information was going to be about him. Is that video still playing in the background? No, it's not. So, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, over on Jason's channel, Front Seat Driver, he put up a video talking about the delivery of Steve's C8 Corvette. We kind of, since Steve is a prank channel, we kind of pranked him a little bit, made him think he was getting an oil change, and he arrived at the dealership to actually find that his new C8 was sitting there. You guys should definitely check it out.
I told him we were going to actually make a video on how to do an oil change because I needed a reason to kind of get them to the back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of them just taking off with the car. Worked out great. You know, the people at Stonebriar were very helpful. They were very into it. So
yeah. The whole thing worked out pretty nicely. If you guys, after the live is over here, if you want to check it out with him, it'd be pretty cool. But let's see what else we got here. Steve, are you awake? Says Paul. Yeah, nope. He's gone. He is fully in rest mode, it seems. Shane says we have 80 thumbs ups. Steve was on here. Nice. I think he might come back. We'll see what happens. Got 80 thumbs up. We got 150 people watching. Be pretty cool if we could get those numbers to match. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the information we have here, though, because like I said, a lot of these people are getting Z06s and they're just regular people. So over at the MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, we can see this is where you're going to actually be able to see some of this information. The Z06 order accepted status, target production week, progression thread. As you can see, this started on August 24th, and we can go, it's got 7 pages full of people talking about them getting the target production week, orders accepted, all that stuff.
Steve said he's on here. He can see and hear you both.
Okay, so Steve is apparently able to see and hear. We're just not able to see him. I have no idea how that works, but sure, we'll take it, I guess. So basically, let's keep going through this information here, though. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. August 24th, this particular person here, John 006, was at 3,000 status. You can keep scrolling down through all this, but you'll see lots of people at 3,000 status on this car. So, and these are regular people on this forum. These are not influencers. They're not celebrities, nothing like that. So some of these people have been at 3,000 status since August 24th of this year. So what, 2 months ago. If we come down to the bottom, we'll skip over to page 7, where obviously is the most up-to-date information. Cali Girl, we talked about her last week. She's at 3,400 status, I believe, and had a target production week of November 11th. So here within the next 2 weeks, she's going to have a car built. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Edge Red is off of constraint. We have 41 completed customer Z06s. Last week, 10 Z06s were completed. The ramp-up rate is increasing, but still obviously pretty slow. We got 15 coupes and 26 hardtop convertibles. So somebody just asked about this a second ago. 15 coupes and 26 convertibles. So definitely still more so leaning towards that convertible option. The Z07s are still as they're still the most built Z06 as well. So even though there's not going to be many Z07s built, they seem to be building those first. The highest VIN for the 70th anniversary Z06 is 22. The highest VIN for the non-anniversary Z06 is 19. I don't know if that's accurate, though, because I'm pretty sure Rick Hendrick has a 70th anniversary, and his is going to be number 1. All right, guys, and we also just got another super chat from Dr. Corvette. So he says, I don't know what we're all going to do tomorrow night. I like that. So without having the normal Corvette Weekly on Monday night, Dr. Corvette doesn't know what he's going to do. He donated $50, though. He's definitely helping up the channel. I thought about possibly going live whenever I'm at SEMA, but I have no idea how that's all going to work. So I didn't want to hinge it on unknowns, and I figured we'd just do it tonight and see how it worked. So let's see. What does Shane say? How many thumbs up we have, Shane? Had 80. Uh-oh. Vet Father says that there's delays on the twin turbo build. That's not good.
No.
What kind of delays? Do you know of this, Jason?
Yeah, he told me a little bit the other day. We talked on the phone, and I can't remember. I know he was hoping to get it before the last track day, though, in November, which I can't remember what day it is, but it's not going to happen. I thought it was early November, and it's not happening, but I don't know exactly. I jinxed him on our last phone call. I talked to him on, I think it was Friday. So, yeah.
It's still, just so you guys know, the Vet Father here has a really crazy build coming. And if you look at the LMR's YouTube channel, you can actually see them messing around with his car. He has a Rapid Blue C8 that's going to just be a freaking monster. They even said whenever the car got dropped off that it could possibly be the fastest C8 they've ever built. So this thing's going to be a beast.
And the funny thing about it is when my car was delivered, it was on the same transport truck as his car. So his was sitting directly in front of mine. It was on its way to Houston when they were delivering mine from California. His dealership, saying he was my salesman at Boardwalk Show. Yeah,
that's awesome. So the Vet Father actually is the one that sold the C8 to Jason. And when the car got delivered, both of the cars were actually on the truck. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, it's in my video. You said I started at the end. Well, I don't start it. They started it, but yeah.
Protective Dad pranks, since we can't see him. He says, hit up some Venmos. Daddy needs a new high wing. So, guys, Steve just got a C8 Corvette, and he does not have a spoiler at all. So, no Z51 wing, no high wing. And in my personal opinion, I think the car needs a wing, and so does Steve.
It needs something.
But with that said, looks like Dr. Corvette donated $10. He says gas for Steve's new car. So $10 on Venmo for, that's $10 more towards his high wing, I guess.
Steve has driven his C8 more than I've driven mine. He
Yeah.
never drives more than me.
Yeah, I know. Whenever he says that, I'm like, man, something's happening to the world. It's a weird world we live in.
But let me get my XPEL. When my XPEL's on,
Yeah.
I'll pass him.
I agree.
All I gotta do is wait for a rain day. But you saw I took
Exactly.
it out yesterday with the risk of rain, and I took it to the gym because I got to get some miles on it so I can pass an inspection. But anyway,
Yeah, I know you'll beat him.
yeah.
Shane says 85 thumbs up currently. Thanks, Shane. Vet Father says LMR's having supply issues, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, Protective Dad Pranks. He's at 248 miles. Man, he is halfway to the 500-mile break-in. That's impressive.
I'm at 25.
I was at, my first drive in that car put me at about 250 because that's how far away the dealership was at the time.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, Stradman drove his C8 from Florida to Utah. Yeah. So yeah, guys, real quick recap. I'm going to go through the information here, but a lot of people on the Mid-Engine Corvette forum are getting target production weeks for their Z06, just regular people, not influencers, not celebrities. We also had some numbers for the Stingray and Z06 production for an update in October. We have 41 Z06s built, and they are making apparently pretty good progress on regular C8s as well. There was 187 of them built on this past Monday. So that's pretty much getting back on track. And that's, Jason said, what, 900 a week is what they aim for?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just C8s, not Z06s. But the next little bit of information we're going to touch on is something from, again, the Mid-Engine Corvette forum, and it's called Dealing with Six-Figure Z06 Markups. Now, somebody in the comment or in the live chat here already mentioned about the dealership we're going to be talking about here, and it is Rydell. So this is the Rydell dealership. I don't remember which one this is, if there is more than one, but they are talking about ordering the Z06 as a completed car. So basically they're going to they're going to put in sold orders, get the car to the dealership, and then auction them off. Now, in my personal experience, this is possibly the sleaziest way to handle the release of this car. I've heard pretty much everything at this point too. You're either paying markups, you're donating to charities, which is also pretty sleazy, and then they're auctioning off the car. So they can handle this one of three ways, it seems. I mean, technically it's one of four, but the fourth way is just selling it at MSRP.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you want to hear?
Go ahead.
Well, do you want to hear a funny story? So one of the dealerships that is here in the DFW area that irritated a lot of people by saying, listen, we're not going to make you pay a markup. No. We wouldn't do that because we're not a sleazy company. We're just going to make you donate $50,000 to somebody, to a charity, which I can appreciate, but that's, to me, I'm just, no, that's just not, to me, I still don't like that idea. But however,
Yeah.
I saw one of their commercials the other day, and they're showing their trucks, and they're like, whatever their name, talking about how they have never been over MSRP and never will be. I'm like, yeah, you're going around the truth. You know what I mean? And you are making people pay over sticker.
Yeah.
You maybe not directly to you, but they're still paying over sticker to get the car. So you're basically lying by omission.
This is the best kind of lying. Steve,
Yeah, exactly.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Nice. Guys, Steve is back. He is back.
Hey, I'm back
the
on?
fly. Yeah, you're back on.
You know
man.
what? Hey, I'm glad I wasn't like doing this or something.
Yeah.
I know that would
Or
have been
yawning.
hilarious.
You could have been yawning.
I'm sure he did a bunch of
I
that.
actually got out and tried putting the link back on, and that worked. So no to us, it works. I was
Well,
saying,
welcome back, Cotter.
Get back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 11-second eclipse, you basically nailed it on the head. Forcing a donation is a scam. All of this stuff is a scam. Whenever I saw this, one of the subscribers that usually is on here on the lives, I believe this is his dealership. Larry Anthony has a dealership. It's Rydell. I don't know if it's this same one or not, but he has a Z06 ordered from them as well. And I think he was either number 1 or number 2 at their dealership. And they were talking about doing the same kind of thing. They're bringing in, I think they said the first 10 Z06s they get are sold orders that are going to sit at the dealership while people auction. Basically, they run an auction and you bid on it. So 100%, somebody already said it in here, those cars are going to sell for $300,000 easily. Easily. Maybe more. Vetfather says, welcome back, dude. We got 87 thumbs ups with 142 watching, guys. Please hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Now, I guess it's 90. That was quick. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, again, we are talking about the fact that this particular dealership, and you can read this is an actual email that came out from the Rydell dealership to people that were on the list for the Z06. It flat out says that they are going to be sold, and they're going to be sold at an auction style. Basically, like I said, it's going to sit there and you're going to bid on this car if you want it. Yep. And you can read through all of it here, but it says their sold order pricing will be determined at that time. So basically, if the auction goes for $1 million, you just bought yourself $1 million Z06. This, like I said, this is one of the sleaziest ways I have seen to sell this car, and I've seen some sleazy ways. You're either over MSRP or you're doing that stupid charity thing, which is one of the dealerships we'll talk about, is making you donate money to a charity that just so happens to be in their back pocket. So that's their way of charging over MSRP without GM knowing that they're charging over MSRP, and they're still getting the money for it. Paul says, why can't GM do something about this? I still really fail to see why they're not doing something about it myself. There's 100 things.
Because there's not been enough backlash.
There's been a lot of backlash. If you go on Facebook, especially, like, it is.
But everybody's still buying the car. Yeah, but people are still buying them left and right.
So Elijah, this is an interesting topic. He says, did the dealerships do this kind of stuff with the C7 ZR1? Let's narrow that down even further to just the C7. They did initially. So when the car first came out, people wanted it so bad. The highest I saw personally was 15,000 over for the C7 Corvette Stingray. 15,000. That was it. There was no auction style. There was no forced charities that I know of. I was actively trying to buy one when they first came out. So I know 15 grand was the most over MSRP I saw. Now, the supply chain and everything back then was a lot better. But no, I don't think, whenever the ZR1 came out, I don't think anybody was going crazy like this. I know the first one sold for over $1 million at Barrett Jackson, but that's not really relevant so much. I didn't see a lot of them selling for over MSRP whenever they were new. I see more of them selling over MSRP now than I did whenever they were brand new.
100%.
All right, we got 92 thumbs up currently, says Shane. We could definitely use some more. Looks like we got 160 watching. King Atlas says, wait, so you can't get a Z06 without having it get it auctioned? Not from this dealership. This particular dealership is Rydell. It looks like, I think this dealership is in California, if I remember correctly. Some of these dealerships are charging well over MSRP, but this particular one is making you actually be part of an auction to get it. Now, this is a thread over at the Mid-Engine Corvette forum. You can go on here and talk about it because people are obviously very unhappy with this kind of stuff. If you want to go over there and vent, you can. But we're going to talk a lot more about the dealerships in general and how much they're charging over, because there's a good bit of dealerships that are charging over in some way, shape, or form. This one, like I said, I've seen this auction style thing before. It's pretty sleazy. So far, Green Rush, the highest markup I have seen for a Z06 is $200,000. I've seen, there's a dealership in Maryland that was doing 200K over, which is really bad. But that was early
When
on.
you guys called them to confirm that, and they said,
I did.
Yeah, I thought.
And that was a year ago. That was a year ago that they were charging 200,000 over. And whenever I told them that they were nuts on the phone, they said, "Yeah, well, we might be, but we also have 10 people on this list that are willing to pay 200 over." And I bet what's funny is I'm pretty sure they did not get one allocation.
Yeah. Nice.
So let's go to something else that's pretty interesting that I found today. It's actually called a website called markups.org. And it's literally exactly what you would think. It's just the location of the dealership, if there's a markup, and what they bought. So this is a pretty cool website here. You can actually see, if you wanted to go on here and find a dealership that you could buy a new Hyundai at and not pay over MSRP, the dealer name Healy Hyundai looks like you won't pay a markup. Pretty cool. This is definitely a way to make sure that we are all informed. The website could use a little bit of polish, but for the most part, it does exactly what you would assume it does. It tells you what dealerships are going to charge over and which ones don't. Yeah, guys, Paul says, come on, guys, do the right thing. Smash that thumbs up button. We would appreciate some thumbs up, guys. It really helps the channel. It helps the entire situation here, makes a better community for all of us. We put all the money back into making this kind of stuff happen for you guys. So, yeah. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of this website, though? I thought this was interesting because somebody has to actually actively set this up and maintain it. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that are just, they're done. They're over the they're over the charging over MSRP portion of life. And this website is proof of it.
Right. Man, 30,000 over for a Ram. 1,500. It's here in Texas.
I bet that was probably a
Mac Hike. No, it's Mac Hike down in Houston. That doesn't surprise.
Yeah, it is. That does not. That's the one.
Yeah.
This is the one that was charging
Crack
over.
Hike. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the one that isn't that the one that Steve called Crack Hike?
Yeah. Well, that's the one that was charging like 90K over. Oh, Steve's gone again.
Yeah, that's right. And then suddenly they're like, "Oh no, it was a mistake." Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Oops.
In retrospect, we were going to lose a lot of business.
We accidentally typed 90,000 in there. We meant 0.
Yeah. We meant 190, but no.
Yeah. They just wanted to see if they could get away with 90 at first. But yeah, so guys, though we talked about this a couple months ago. Mac Hike was charging 90K over. They got a huge backlash on the internet, and because of that, Steve was actually the last one to make a phone call to them, and it was right after he talked to them that they decided to stop charging over MSRP, which is why we wanted to put together this list, because it seems like we might actually be able to do some good with this. Guys, Shane's saying we're at 110 thumbs up. It'd be cool if we could keep going with that. Looks like we have about 200 people watching, so if we could have 200 thumbs up too, that'd be awesome. Blown 6gen says, to me, we are all the problem, honestly. We hate to pay over MSRP, but I'm willing to bet most do because they don't want to wait. That is 100% accurate. If we all stopped doing that, they would have no choice but to charge MSRP because they're not going to let it sit there.
But we want the car, so we do.
Yep.
Sometimes you pay a little over that too.
I was going to say 5K over, even 10K over. It's not my idea of a good time, but it's not ridiculous. Like the Z06 being 100K over, that's insane. That's not on the level of okay anymore. That's far past that.
Right.
Shane says we got 115 thumbs up with 184 people watching. Be really cool if those numbers would match, guys. We really appreciate all of you guys tuning in, but we do need to mention this from time to time because it does help the channel.
We talked about this earlier on the phone, Justin. We talked about, used to go to these car shows, and I noticed there'd be 90% of these Z06 and 10% what I'd see Stingrays. But I'm telling you, I think that's going to reverse now because
99 to 1%.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like I paid taxes, everything out the door with markup, $89,000. So that's for one car. If I want a Z06, that'd be $189,000 basically, because I want to put $50,000. So I could buy 2 Stingrays for that price.
Yep.
I mean, my car payment would be double. And the Z06 is nice, but I'm sorry, it's not that nice. I mean, not pay double a car payment. I'm loving
Yeah,
the C8.
And the thing is that varies though massively based on where you live, because down in Florida, I've noticed I see almost no Z06s or Z01s. Everything I see is a Stingray, and it's not even just they're all base Stingrays, like non Z51 stripped models with like just the basic wheels and stuff. That's what I see down there a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of Z06s here. A lot.
Yeah,
of Z06s.
there's a lot of them here too.
A fair amount of Grand Sports. Yeah.
But there are a lot more. I think Jason will agree. I drive around. I see more C8s than all Corvettes combined.
Yeah.
If you were to say what I see during the day,
Yeah,
I see C8s all the time now.
I think because they're such an easy driving car, like Justin says,
Yeah.
if you don't drive it, it just drives you. You just press a button and go.
Yeah.
That everybody, they're daily driving them, whereas C7s aren't as easy. You know what I mean? You still get to do the work. And so I think people are, women are just out, on their daily going out, selling houses and whatever, driving their C8.
Yeah, and I
not
agree.
an insult to the C8 saying it's a bunch of women.
Right.
I have one, so I can say it now. I'm just saying,
I'm noticing the same kind of thing in Florida. The majority of the Corvettes I'm seeing down there are C8s now. And I do believe the same thing, that they are an easier driving car. So the C7, the C6, the C5, they're awesome cars. Don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously I love me some C7, but they are punishing to some degree to drive.
Yeah.
And it's because it's in the nature. It's a sports car. It's not going to float over bumps like a Cadillac, but the C8 does float a little bit more than the C7 does. So it's an easier driving car. So if you want to daily it in a place like Florida or Texas, you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Green Rush
I do need to
asks,
clarify something. Go ahead.
Nope.
Well, I do need to clarify, when I say women driving cars, I don't get myself in trouble, because I do all the time.
Yeah, right.
I
With
just meant
Judy. She's watching, I bet, too.
I know. And I love her, so I don't want her thinking anything
Right.
negative. What I'm saying is, you find most guys are sports car people. Women there's just less of them. That's the facts. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I say women driving them, it's not, it's just saying because you're not going to find as many women choosing to daily drive a sports car as you do men.
Right.
So I do need to clarify.
Guys, yeah. A lot of times we'll say stupid stuff like that after the fact we're like, probably shouldn't have said it that way. But one of our good friends on here, we made a mistake with something we said once before, and she called us on it, and it was dumb. We were stupid. So
I was definitely stupid on that one. I have no excuse on that. This one I just didn't clarify, and I needed to clarify.
Yeah. Sure. So guys, we got Green Rush has a question that he has asked a couple times now, so it must be pretty important. He says, Justin, what do you think is the okay range for a markup for the Z06? Like I said earlier, I don't like markup at all. So I'm not going to give the okay or the go ahead to dealerships to charge anything over. But personally, I would pay up to $10,000 over. That's it. And $10K, that goes against everything in the fiber of my being. I do not want to go $10K over on a car. If anything, it should be $10K under. But just because the Z06 is what it is, I would go $10K at absolute most. Unless you really, really want the car and you're going to pay more, that's a personal thing at that point.
I paid more, and I'm glad I'd do it again.
Steve Robertson says, I just bought a CT5V at MSRP. The dealerships are out there. They do exist. And yeah, so Steve down below me here, he paid over MSRP to get his C8 earlier. And he doesn't have any regrets. So it really depends on what you're willing to accept. What did you end up paying, Steve?
So over the MSRP, I spent $5,000 over MSRP, and I paid $4,000 to be bumped to the top of the list. I went in there on I went there on a Monday, and I was the next allocation on Thursday.
And that actually made me think of something too. Speaking of allocations, I was going to tell you. So I talked to Al the other day. They didn't have any allocations this month. Tim from Dad's Garage also has been on a list that he's number 3 on. He did not get his allocation picked up this month. They didn't have any last month either. So it seems like there might be a little bit of a slowdown with allocations right now.
The that is probably a direct result of the plant being closed for a week.
Being shut down for a week,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So MVP, just so you know, he's not saying 5K. It was 5K and then another 4K on top of it. So it was 9,000.
No.
Yeah. So that still kind of factors into what I was saying earlier about being like 10K is my limit. And really, I don't want to even do that. But if I have to for the Z06, I would gladly do 10K over. I would not go a penny above 10K.
I want to clarify also, they also gave me, when I first started out for my Stingray, they wanted 53 and so did Corvette World. And I got them at 59,000. So I made 7,000 more. So I basically didn't pay that much over because they wanted my car really bad. And I'm like 59.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, there's wiggle room with these, even the markups. You can negotiate markups just like you can the price of a car. And Steve did that. So even though it was technically $9,000, he managed to get some additional money for his car he's trading in. So it ended up being what, like 7 instead.
Yeah, it was worth it. I love it.
Yeah. And honestly, that's really all that matters. if you think it's worth it and you want to pay the extra money, do it. Don't let anybody tell you not to. I mean, it's ultimately up to you.
Yeah, but get a 2LT or a 3LT. Do not get a 1LT because I almost did that. If it wasn't for talking to Justin, I was going to buy a 1LT. So thank God I didn't, because I love the 2LT.
The 1LTs are dangerous because of the blind spots on the C8. If you don't do a 2LT, you don't get that video camera rear view mirror, unless, of course, you're getting a convertible. But a regular coupe, 1LT, you don't get that mirror. And without that mirror, it is really hard to see anything.
Oh, I see everything in this car. I love it. I love it. I feel safe in it.
You know what's funny, though? I totally forgot that the camera obviously is on the roof. If your roof is stowed, clearly it's not going to work. I kept pushing the button trying to get it to go to the camera. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm like, oh, yeah, moron. It's stowed behind me.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I knew it didn't work.
Yeah. With that said, though, I think it does a really cool, it does a good job at like transferring from the camera to just the regular mirror as it goes down. Because like even if you're looking at it when it happens, what you're seeing and then what comes onto the actual mirror, it almost is the same thing. So it's just like dissolves into it almost. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
and I'll be honest with you, for me, I like the mirror. I don't have any issues at all with using just the mirror. The only problem I have is when I'm backing out of my driveway, I have to look before I get to the end of the driveway, because with the nacelles, just like in the Lamborghini, the exact same thing. I cannot see the road.
Yep. There's a good 2-foot section of total blind spot on the car. Mm-hmm. And the rear view camera helps a lot with that. Now, with the convertible, it's a little easier because of the way that window's placed. You're not looking through a window and then through another window like you are with the coupe. So it's a little bit easier on the convertible, but at the end of the day, I would get that camera mirror regardless. I want to address this. Dr. Corvette says that regular Stingrays were 30K over for 3 years. The Z06 is going to be a lot more. It definitely is going to be, especially if they continue the production at the low levels that they're doing now. That car is going to possibly be 150 to 200,000 over. Paper Tiger says that the ad in the background goes hard. I'm assuming you're talking about the ZR1 ad over here. This was in the DuPont registry, and I had it printed on a big piece of acrylic so I could have it in here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you know what, guys? We need to talk about the reason you guys are all here. We are going to start talking about the dealerships that are charging over MSRP. Now, this is on the Vet Syndicate Instagram page. We kind of opened it up to you guys to let us know if you were, part of a dealership that was charging over MSRP, and a lot of you are. So we posted this a while ago, August 24th. Boy, that's weird. That date keeps coming up.
I'm going to go pin it.
What's that?
I'm going to pin it. Now it's on the top of the profile now. So if anybody wants to go look at it, they can look at it.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see all of the dealerships that have that we have gathered so far and what they're charging over, this is where you can do it. So this is right on the Vet Syndicate Instagram page. And we were talking about, the dealerships that are charging over MSRP, and we wanted to get into all the comments and talk about specifically how much over, what dealerships are doing it, all that stuff. We've already talked about Mac Hike was one of them. They're not charging over anymore because of all the things that we did or when I say we, not just the people on the screen here, but as in general, the Corvette community, we stop them from charging over. That's what we ultimately wanted to do with this kind of information as well, is get the info out to the people and hopefully have somebody make it matter. In this case, there's a lot of dealerships that are charging over, and unfortunately for us, there's a lot less that aren't. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so one of the first ones that comes up here, it looks like it is Selman Chevrolet is charging $13,000 over. Dyer Chevrolet in Vero Beach, Florida is $50K over. Now, $50K, guys, this is going to be a number you're going to see pop up quite a bit here. $50,000 it seems to be the going rate for the
that is so crazy. That's the price of a really nice car.
Yeah.
Gosh.
50, and all you're doing is basically throwing it out the window.
Yeah. Let's see how long this lasts. We go into major inflation.
Yeah.
Or recession. Well, we already are, but
on both of those.
So the next one is local dealership Team Chevrolet in Las Vegas, Nevada. Told me they're selling C8 Z06s, again, $50K over.
Jeez.
Now, like we talked about earlier, we have that Rydell dealership that's doing the auction. So some of these are going to not reflect that, but we're going to talk about another one that I know is doing it too. Not an auction, but something else pretty sleazy. UJ Chevrolet Mobile, Alabama, is $15K over on Stingrays, and triple that for Z06s. They sold a 2021 1LT Coupe for previously owned for $90K. So they're at what, 45 or 50 over for Z06s. 15 over for a Stingray is pretty high. Nowadays, it seems to have settled down around 5 to 7 is where I'm seeing most dealerships sitting now. This guy says, had a dealership say that they were going to bid the cars away, so auction style. So that's another one. Riverside, California, waiting for 1 year, 6 months, they said. So you're about an 18-month wait to just get a C8, not a Z06. 20K over, looks like in somewhere in Georgia. Stephen Creek Chevy is charging $50K over for a Z06. Gallus Chevrolet in Albuquerque is $50K over.
Did you catch that part? Multi-year wait list. That means they're just taking 50 grand, 50 grand, 50 grand, 50
Yeah,
grand.
and that's something else I wanted to address, guys. So if your dealership is taking money from you to sit on an allocation wait list, I want you to think about something. See, I think we talked about this before, but Sioka has, what was it? It's their deposits are $5,000 for the Z06, and they have 5,000 people on a list. So 5,000 people waiting for a Z06 at $5,000 per is $25 million. They have $25 million of your money sitting in a bank account that they're earning interest on, all while you're waiting for a car that you are probably never going to get from them. That's
And
the part.
I'm taking deposits as well. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to put a deposit down, just let me know. It's $5,000. I tell you what, I'll do 4. We'll do 4. I'm going to beat everybody else. $4,000 deposits.
Yeah.
And
honestly,
E-Ray allocation.
Yes, for the E-Ray.
You guys have you have pretty much the same chance of getting it from Jason that you do from the regular dealership.
Yes, and if I can't get your car, if I can't get your allocation in the next 4 years, I will happily return your money.
It looks like Elijah says that John L. Sullivan Chevrolet from Roseville, California is doing 100K over. Now, see, this is pretty cool here. So the vet father, like I said, he's the guy that Jason bought his C8 from. He's actively, he's in here saying, that his dealership is 50K over for the Z06. Now, when I say his dealership, he doesn't own it. He's just a salesman there, so he doesn't have any control over that price. But it's nice that we can get this kind of information out to you guys from the actual source. That's what this kind of stuff is all about.
Yeah. But in all fairness, in California, 50 grand's like 3 months rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not even.
Yeah. I know what I know what the vet father pays for rent each month. It's insane.
This is kind of my concern, what Shane says. He says the higher you bid, the higher your spot is. If someone outbids you, you get bumped down. This is my problem with the whole thing, is that just like what Steve did with his dealership, he was able to come in there, throw an extra couple thousand at it, and now he gets put ahead of the people that have been on that list for 10 months.
Yeah.
Because he paid more. I don't know. But anyway.
And I asked that question too. They told me they had 2 lists going. You could get on their expedited list, or you can get on. I asked him how. He goes, "There's several people. There's 3 people the same week that I did it. They have like, I don't know how they're allocating their cars. I don't know, but it was worth it."
Yeah. So let's move over and talk a little bit more about the rest of these. So if you guys have any that aren't on this list, feel free to put them in the chat. We're going to include them in the video as well, just because we want this information out there. There's a lot of dealerships doing this stuff, obviously, that are not on this list. So anything you have, we can add. What?
Kuhn Chevrolet, 200,000 over.
Yeah. That might be the one. Is that the one in,
200,000?
is that the one in Maryland?
Yes. 200,000 over MSRP.
Where are you seeing
By
that? Is that on the-
Hyperjet BP.
in the chat or on the Instagram?
Instagram.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that number just jumped out at me. I was like, whoa.
That's the and I personally called to verify that. So that's not a mistake. That's not a joke. That is a legitimate amount of money over MSRP, and it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I'm buying a Lamborghini before I do that. 300 grand, 350. I'm buying I don't care what it is. I'm sorry. Corvettes. I love Corvette, but not that kind of money.
Well, the sad part is it's like, for the amount of money you're going to pay over to get a Z06, you could actually use that amount of money to buy another Z06. You could have 2 Z06s for the amount you're going to pay over for one of them.
Yeah.
But
one for the price of 2.
Lord help if this thing has issues, if it can't handle the engine. There's a reason why they're not producing this many. There's something wrong with this car. I'm gonna keep saying it. There's something wrong with this car. There's no way this is like their hallmark car next to the ZR1, but they're only gonna make 300 right now. There's something wrong with the transmission or the engine. Just can't handle. I don't think I can handle power.
I don't disagree. I think we're gonna learn more about this here pretty soon, if I had to guess, but we'll see. So the next one up on the list here looks like Bill Stazik Chevrolet in Illinois. They want a $50K markup. Wow. And keep in mind, guys, these people wanting the markups on these, I bet you none of these dealerships even got an allocation. Haley Chevrolet in Virginia told me 30K over. That's actually kind of low for a Z06. That looks like it though. I didn't see the 200,000 one.
Yeah, you keep going down. They're already about 3 down from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Hyperjet BP.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
On Instagram?
Yeah. Am I?
It's right below. Yeah, from the one you just talked about, the Haley Chevrolet, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. That's what I see. Hyperjet. Kuhn Chevrolet in Maryland.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, there's more. Courtesy Chevrolet in San Diego wants 25K over. That's actually not bad for California.
Yeah.
Unity Chevrolet wants 50,000 over. Coughlin Chevy, this is the dealership where Rick Conti works, wants 50K over. He caught a lot of flack over that, by the way. They were initially going to do a bid, an auction style, and I guess they switched to 50K over now. I'm not going to try to pronounce this one, but there's a dealership in Wisconsin that is 10K over. I'm assuming that's probably for the Stingray. That seems low for the Z06.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's Kuhn Chevrolet in Maryland. Yep, asking 200,000 above MSRP. And like I said, I personally verified that one. That one is legit. And as pathetic as that sounds, it is legit.
I guess some people have more money than brains.
I mean, I don't, if you really want the car, I get it. But at the same time, that is a lot of money. Champion Chevrolet in Indiana is 50K over, 90K over everywhere I checked, and I still haven't gotten my 23 Stingray. It's been 14 months. Man, that sucks.
Wow.
There's one in Colorado that's 60K over. Bachman Chevrolet.
Which dealership is Rick? Which
What's that?
dealership is Rick Conti?
Coughlin.
Okay, and that's the one that's how much over?
50.
50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bachman
doesn't
Chevrolet is
Father
where
work at
Chevy Dude used to
Boardwalk?
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They're 50K over.
Wow.
What'd you say, Steve?
Boardwalk is Father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
already said they're 50 over.
they're 50 over. He told me that initially whenever I started calling him about getting a car for Jason.
Yeah.
Kenny Kent in Indiana's 10K over. If he's talking about the Z06, 10K over, I hate to say this, but 10K over is not that bad. I hate saying that, by the way. Boardwalk Chevrolet canceled all contracts and demanded additional 50K over. I don't know how true any of that is, but we do know they're 50K over. He's in here talking about it now. Hendrick in Buford, Georgia is 10K over, but it could go higher depending on allocations. Man, there is a lot of comments on here. Dimmitt Chevrolet is 100K above
nice little list.
MSRP. Mac Hike was 90K, but they changed that. Classic Chevrolet, this is where it gets me. Classic Chevrolet, $50,000 quote unquote donation to one of their 13 charities. Now, or the charities of their choice. Now, the problem with that is if you look closely at it, you're going to find that those charities of their choice are in their back pockets. So you're giving this money to a charity that ends up giving it right back to them. That's what's going on.
So you mean they're like
with
politicians when we give money to a foreign country and it funnels back to the not it. Anyway, so what were we talking about?
Another one doing this that I don't think is on this list is Click Lewis. So the dealership I previously dealt with, the number one spot for the Z06, and they didn't even get an allocation. The number one spot is paying an additional $200,000 over to a charity. And I looked into it. That charity is in their back pocket. So they're getting that $200,000 right back, but they get around the whole charging over MSRP thing, so they can't be punished by Chevrolet. This is one of the reasons why I cut ties with Click Lewis, because they were always talking about the fact that they would never charge over MSRP. And while they're technically not charging over MSRP, it's still a sleazy move. Looks like we got 140 thumbs up currently, guys. We got about 200 people watching. It would be really nice if those numbers would match. Stephen Rapp, yes. They also get the deduction, which is really interesting because not only are they getting the money back, they're also able to deduct that. So there's
a zero chance I would do that if I had the money or not. If I'm giving to a charity, I'm getting the deduction. Nope.
Exactly.
At that point, it's principle. I just wouldn't do it on principle. I don't care. There's nothing I want outside of life that I would pay that or want that.
Exactly. Yeah, Dr. Corvette, I definitely hope you're right, but some of this stuff it's looking strange to me because while I know the supply chain issue is very real, I just feel like it's not only 300 cars in year one real. I feel like if you can produce 900 C8 Corvettes a week, why can you only produce 10 Z06s? The car's not that much different. The biggest difference obviously being the engine, but I just feel like there's something more to it. We got 145 thumbs up. Now it looks like Shane is letting us know. Guys, it would be really cool if we could hit 200. That would be awesome. Drip says, who did you go through if not Click Lewis? I'll be honest with you. There's 3 different dealerships that I have a possibility of getting the car from, and I don't have the paperwork in front of me to give you the name. I will try to have that for you guys next week, though. Stephen Rapp, we have actually reached out to GM. There's a contact that we have at GM that we have forwarded a lot of this information to with no response. We're going to keep doing it though, in hopes that it does change something and we can start getting this car for MSRP, but we'll see. Paper Tiger, we did. I was just addressing that. Shane says we got 154 thumbs up currently. Almost 200 people watching. We could still do a little bit better. I really appreciate the thumbs up, guys. We're going to flip back over to the browser here and keep going through this. Looks like we got Mac Hike is on here a bunch, but Mac Hike went back on that, so don't worry about that one. Dimmitt Chevrolet again. We've talked about that one. Classic Chevrolet. We already talked about that. Classic Chevrolet again. We already did that. Boy, Classic Chevrolet is on here a lot. Bachman Chevrolet, we already talked about them. They're 50K over. Tracy Chevrolet is 15K over with an additional $2,500 reservation fee. I'm assuming that's probably their allocation cost. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not going to read that one. Dimmitt is 100,000 over. I think we already talked about that one. Gateway Chevrolet in Arizona is 75,000 over. Sands Chevrolet Surprise Arizona is 50K over. Again, guys, this is right on the Instagram Vet Syndicate Instagram page. If you want to go over there and check these out for yourselves, you can add to the list, or you can just save the info so you know what dealership not to contact. Serpentini, Willoughby Hills, 25K over. Yeah, see, this guy here is talking about how he feels blessed to only be getting charged 10K over. That's so sad. Oh, wow. So here's this website. Here's the website, markups.org. We were just talking about that. It actually commented on the Instagram page. That's freaking awesome. So we actually have, we still have it open. The markups.org webpage. Pretty cool. So they actually commented on the thing we were trying to do on the Vet Syndicate Instagram page. Looks like we got 166 thumbs up currently, guys. If we could, please try to make those match. Looks like we lost Steve again. Man, he's been in and out all night, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that. Let's see what else we got here. Anybody else have any? Yeah, Paul, it surprisingly and strangely does kind of sound like money laundering. It's, I don't know. I don't want to point any fingers, but it does sound like something like that. Yeah,
here's my thing.
This was kind of my thought on it too, is that GM is kind of going to like quietly slide the Z06 aside and just go straight with the E-Ray. We'll see what happens. I've heard a lot of rumors of not positive things, but I don't want to spread a lot of negative information if it's not true. So I'm going to wait a little bit on it, but we'll see. What were you going to say, Jason?
Here's a concern that I have is what are they doing with our money? Are they legitimately leaving it in a bank, or are they using it? Because this is what happened to Voyager. I had a bunch of crypto in Voyager's account. They had my money, and they decided to basically gamble with it, and they lost. Whenever I forgot the name of the company that a lot of the different crypto people were investing with, and they were, whatever, they went under. So then they lost a bunch of money. Anyway, this is what would bother me is what if that money's not just sitting in an account, they've got it out other areas, they're investing it, we don't know. And then some company goes under, then they've lost all of our money. They can't recoup. You're out your money. Yep. I mean, I'm not saying they would be doing that. I don't know. But what if they are? I mean, do we know what they're doing with the money?
I don't know for sure, but what it seems like to me is that it's in a bank account, it's sitting there, and it's just earning interest. So, depending on what kind of account they're using, that amount of money could be earning a significant amount of interest.
Sure.
I mean, if you go in there, if you wanted to cancel, we'll say you're one of the 5,000 who gave $5,000. If you wanted to cancel tomorrow, okay, here's your $5,000. Does that really hurt whenever you just made probably 15 to 20 million just off the interest? I mean, no, $5,000 is not going to hurt you at all. And a lot of the people are staying on the list because they're thinking, worst case scenario, it's only $5,000 and maybe they'll call me. A lot of people are thinking like, I've talked to a bunch of people that have 15 different allocations at 15 different dealerships, all for $2 to $5 grand a piece. They don't care. They're just waiting for the first dealership to call them is the one that they're going to go with.
Yeah. I have 3,000 down for the E-Ray, and I'm number 3 on the list, but I do have money down on a car that's not actually even been,
confirmed.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm saying more so that you should be aware of exactly what it is you're doing, because you're not just putting down money to hold your spot. You are literally putting this money into their pockets, and it doesn't guarantee you anything, because I'm at 3 different dealerships. I'm number 1 at 2 of them and number 2 at 1 of them, and none of them got an allocation, so that those numbers don't matter at all. Now, I didn't have to put anything down at any one of those dealerships. That was a big thing for me, is that I really don't want to give you $2,000 or even $5,000 to hold my spot when nothing is guaranteed. So I don't know. I don't like it. But there's more to talk about here, guys. We still have more to go through. Obviously, we still have that Dimmitt Chevrolet, comes up a bunch. Bob Stahl in San Diego is 50,000 over. Rydell Chevrolet at one point was 100,000 over, but they have since switched to the auction style. The Mac Hike, we already talked about that one. Auto Nation Chevrolet in Waco, Texas is 50K over.
That's where I did my video with the red Z06. The torch red was at Auto Nation in Waco.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bob Fisher in Reading, PA, looks like they wanted 30K over. The Chevrolet by him is charging 80K over. Van Chevy in Arizona is 100K over. Lander Chevrolet, Norman, Oklahoma, has 50K over, gets you to the top 10 on the list, and 30K just to be on the list. This is the kind of ridiculous stuff right here. Like, if you pay 50 grand, you're going to be in the top 10 on the list. If you pay 35, you're just on the list. You could be anywhere on that list. But if someone comes in and pays 50 on top of you, you're getting bumped down that list. That's the kind of ridiculousness that it's just, in my experience, it's just unacceptable. I don't know why anybody would be okay doing this. Shane's saying we got 170 thumbs up, guys. We are about to start wrapping this up, I believe. Looks like we have 180 people in here, so we're only 10 away from the thumbs up. It'd be really cool if we could hit 200, but there's a lot of information to cover here, guys. So head over to the Vet Syndicate Instagram page. It's down in the description below if you want to just click the link. It will get you to the page, and you can look at all of these guys charging over from there. There are still a lot more to cover, and we've only gone through, I don't know, probably 20, 30 dealerships at this point. There's a lot of dealerships to talk about here. We're not going to really have time to cover all of these, I don't think. So, yeah, we're going to start wrapping this up, though, guys. I really do appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate sharing the information here, because we do want to try to stop this from happening, but at the same time, there are a lot of dealerships that have to be hit with this. So if you guys could please, one last time, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know we're doing something that you guys are appreciating so we can keep doing it for you. That'd be awesome. So we got 172 thumbs up currently. Steven, you're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We're going to talk about this a lot in the future, but for the meantime, head over to the Vet Syndicate Instagram page, check out all those dealerships, and make sure that you're not doing business with one of these dealerships, because if you do, and if you want to spend over and you want to get one of the cars faster, that's fine. But if you're like me and you want to stay at MSRP, these are the dealerships you want to avoid. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. I think we're gonna check out here. So Steve is still on, but he's in the dark. He's having some issues with the phone for some reason. Doesn't play well with the system. But me and Jason are on here, so I guess, like I said, head over to Jason's channel, Front Seat Driver. Check out the video of Steve getting his car. It's a really cool video. And other than that, I guess we'll see you guys next Monday at 7:30 p.m. And if you're in Vegas at SEMA, I'll be there as well. Stop by and say hi. But yeah, guys, we'll see you next week. See ya.
See you guys.